Tonight, on the world's most amazing videos, a firefighter marches through the gates of hell to save a trapped little girl. Plus, a backup singer is crushed when her band brings down the house. And a skier loses control and plummets down a mountain at 90 miles an hour. Plus, a terrified pilot fights to survive when his jet plunges off the side of an aircraft carrier. And a man dangles 125 feet above the ground. Can rescue workers reach him in time? These are the incredible true life stories of people who face their most desperate hour and live to tell about it. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos.
The Mediterranean Sea. The aircraft carrier USS America is on maneuvers off the coast of Lebanon. Fighter pilots perform difficult takeoffs and landings on the ship's 1,000-yard runway. Admiral Zap Zlatofor is the air group commander in charge.
Landing on a carrier is a different experience. The pilot has to put that airplane in exactly the right spot, at exactly the right time, and at the right speed. And this literally does a crash into the flight deck.
These high-impact landings occur when the jet slams into the flight deck at full throttle. In order to stop, the plane's tailhook must catch one of 4 steel cables. If the pilot misses them, the result could be fatal. So far, the maneuvers have gone off without incident. But that's all about to change. Lieutenant Charlie Bow guides his fighter jet in for a landing. The tailhook catches the cable and brings the jet to an abrupt stop. But suddenly, the aircraft veers toward the edge of the ship. Watch again. The jet releases the hook, but a malfunction causes the plane to accelerate. The pilot tries to stop the aircraft, but it's too late. Somehow, Lieutenant Bow manages to eject from the plane before it crashes into the water.
The first thing came to mind was, get on the brakes, and if I can't stop this, in these 2 seconds, that's all I'm going to give it, and I'm out of here. I'm going to eject. And that's exactly what happened.
The ejection rockets Bow away from the plane, but he's far from safe.
Everything blacked out, and the next thing I remember is I'm just tumbling through the air. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, parachute, anytime now, you can open up.
The chute opens. But as he lands, the lieutenant's body slams into the edge of the flight deck with bone-crushing force.
When I hit the deck, that's when it took its toll on me. Because I hit from about mid-thigh to up under my armpit. I broke my hip, broke 5 ribs, and that put my lights out for maybe just a little bit.
Incredibly, Bow lands in a safety net just a few feet below the deck.
That's the next thing I remember is them looking down at me, and I'm looking up at them. They said, "Sir, are you all right?" I went, that hurt.
Moments later, Bow is back on board where he's rushed to the ship's hospital. Although he suffers serious injuries, Bow knows this landing could have been his last.
I felt so fortunate that I survived that accident, that it gave me an appreciation, a real appreciation for the fact that I'm still here, and by God, just enjoy it to the max.
Southern California. The fire department is responding to a bizarre emergency. A young woman named Brandy Miller is stuck in the chimney of her parents' home. Brandy lost her keys, but her ill-advised attempt to break in through the narrow opening has gotten her into deep trouble.
I took off my shoes and I started to slide down the chimney. And it was relatively easy. I was able to get all the way down to the bottom and finally was stopped by the flue where it hit about my hip bone, and I realized at that point in time, maybe not.
Firefighters use a rope to carefully hoist the young woman out of the chimney. But as she emerges, it becomes obvious that Brandy has lost a lot more than her keys. From the waist up, Brandy is covered only with a thin layer of soot.
It's a very tight, small space. Not a lot of air, and not a lot of room to move. And so I removed some of my clothing.
To make matters worse, her embarrassing moment has drawn quite a crowd. Brandy's neighbors and a TV crew are there to witness the unveiling.
When my head came out of the chimney, I looked around and I saw a parade. I saw a bunch of lights, a bunch of people, and cameras.
Sparing the young woman further humiliation, firefighters tell the cameramen that the show is over. Brandy is covered in a fireman's coat and helped down the ladder. Then she's placed on a stretcher and taken to an ambulance. The paramedics want to rush her to the emergency room, but Brandy just wants her nightmare to end.
Unless you think you're Santa Claus, don't climb down the chimney.
Kitzbühel, Austria. Top-ranked Canadian skier Todd Brooker is making his final practice run for the Hahnenkamm World Cup. This is one of the most treacherous downhill courses known to man. Todd is nearing 90 miles an hour when suddenly his left ski is sheared off. Let's watch again. As Todd rockets down the mountain, his ski breaks away. He slams onto his head and knocks himself unconscious. He cartwheels uncontrollably at breakneck speed. Finally, Todd skids to a stop. His wife Lisa watches in horror from the finish line.
I just knew that it was over. Everything was finished. And I thought for sure. I thought either he died or would be paralyzed.
But miraculously, Todd is alive.
I hit my head hard enough, and I wasn't in a coma, but I was basically sleeping for 3 months after I came home.
But what caused the accident that nearly claimed Todd's life?
One of my skis just happened to click off, and I realized that it happened before I knew it. I had stuck my boot without the ski into the ground, which started this tumbling forward effect, and probably on one of the first crash or the second time around, I struck my head on the ground hard enough to knock myself out.
Although he blacked out, Todd did not suffer any broken bones.
I've seen a lot of much more minor falls where people have not walked away, or at least been able to recuperate as fully as I have. So yeah, I thank my lucky stars that I don't have anything that's permanent.
Coming up, when a bullfight goes bad, a matador gets the ride of his life, and a hot air balloon explodes, trapping a terrified mother and her child in a fireball of flames. Then later, a new sports car is totaled during a driving test. Plus, an explosion rocks a fishing boat, and the captain goes down with the ship. When the world's most amazing videos returns.
Liberty Mutual stood with me